Okay, the next video, the next notes that we're going to do is notes number 12, Unit 5, notes number 12, writing in intercept form. So we have talked about vertex form. We're going to continue to talk about vertex form. We talked about standard form. And today is another form that we can use, which is intercept form. Intercept form could be written, you could use instead of vertex form, but just keep in mind, vertex and intercept form, we're going to be asking you to make sure you convert those to standard form. So we pretty much need to know the difference between all three. So I'm going to start by going over vertex form again, because we don't want to forget it. Vertex form is your y equals a, x minus h squared plus our k. If the a is positive, it opens up, and if it's negative, it opens down. Don't forget, for your vertex, it's your h and your k. So h lies, k tells you the truth. So on this one, our vertex is -1, -3. And remember, to find the a, you go over 1, and it's how many go up and down. This one we went up 2, so it's a +2 for our a value. Writing that in vertex form, we're going to get y equals 2, x minus a -1, because this is my h, this is my k. This is going to be +1 squared plus my k. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about intercept form, which is kind of similar. So the thing with intercept form, vertex form, you need your vertex. Intercept form, you need your intercepts. So a value, again, is going to be in the front. That tells us whether our parabola opens up or down, so whether it's positive or negative, and then it also is going to stretch and compress it. So with intercept form, you are going to need your x-intercepts, and you're going to need a point. So you're like, well, why do you need that? Because you're going to need to find, if you are given your zeros in a point, you don't have your a value unless it's graphed or you're given a table. So your zeros, your P and your Q represent your x-intercepts. And you're going to have to plug in the other information to find your a value. So these are my zeros. So one is going to be my P. The other is going to be my Q. And then my point is going to be my x and my y. So I'm going to plug these in kind of like we've done on our word problem previously. And then I'm going to find my a value. So I'm going to write my intercept form. So my y is 13. My a, I don't know. My x is 10. My p is -3. So minus a -3 is going to be a +3. Write my x again, which is 10. And then minus my q. My q is 9. So then I'm going to simplify this. I'm going to have 13 times 1. So this is going to be 13 equals 13a. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 13. And my a value is going to be 1. And then I'm going to rewrite this in intercept form. So y equals my a, which is 1, x plus 3, and x minus 9. And that is my intercept form. So I like intercept form. I feel like it's easy compared to vertex form, but it is kind of tricky if you have to find that a value. Okay, let's go to the next page. Okay, so it says write the intercept form of the following quadratic function, and then we're going to convert it to standard form. So like we've been converting vertex form to standard, we're going to convert intercept form to standard. So remember, intercept form is our y equals a, x minus p, x minus q. So intercepts are your p and your q. So this is my p, this is my q, and it's okay if you flip them. And then since we're given a point, that's our x and our y, so we're going to have to find our a value. So I'm going to plug those in. So 8 equals, we don't know our a, x minus a p. Since it's -2, it's going to become +2. And then my x minus my q, which is 5. Simplify this. You're going to keep your a in front. -3 and 2 is going to be -1. And -3 minus 5 is going to be -8. So you're going to get 8 equals 8a. Divide by 8. A is going to equal 1. So plugging this in, I'm going to get y equals 1, x plus 2, x minus 5. So pretty much I just kept this the same on the backs, and I just put my x's back into those front parentheses. Now I have to convert that to standard form. So this one in the front really doesn't matter. So the only thing I really need to do is create my box for those back two parentheses. So x and 2, x and negative 5. So I'm going to get x squared, 2x, negative 5x, negative 10. So you're going to get y equals x squared minus 3x minus 10. And you've now written one in intercept form and converted it to standard form. So like we've been doing the past 3 sets of notes, this one is similar. Okay. This one says write an equation in standard form. So if you guys remember, your standard form is y equals ax squared plus your bx plus your c to represent the following. Okay. So in order to get in, we can't just write it straight to standard form. We have to write it in vertex or intercept form before we can convert it. So I am going to show you how to do it in both. So let's identify our vertex and our intercepts, and then we should be able to find our a value also from this graph. So we aren't going to have to like plug our points in to find it. So this is our vertex, negative 2, 2. This is an intercept. This is an intercept. And our a value, we go over 1. We only went down about a half. Since we went down, it's going to be negative 0.5. So that's our a value. So this is our H, this is my K, this is my P, and this is my Q. So now we can plug stuff in. So I'm going to do vertex here, and then I'm going to do intercept over here. Okay, vertex is y equals a, x minus h squared plus my k. So I'm going to plug in my a, which is negative 0.5. X, my h is negative k, or negative 2, so I'm going to put a positive 2 because it lies. And then plus my k. Intercept form, a, x minus my p, x minus my q. Plug those values in, so you're going to get what equals negative 0.5. X minus my p is negative 4, so that's going to be a positive 4. My q is 0, so I'm going to put x minus 0. And then we have to convert these to standard form. Like I said, this is an either or situation. You normally do not have to, you don't have to use both, but whichever one you feel more comfortable using is the one you're going to have to do. Little 2 means I write it twice. I'm going to be left with little room here, you guys. Distribute, so you're going to get negative 0.5x minus 1. Like I said, I don't got much room. Negative 0.5x, negative 1, x 2, and then a positive. We're going to have to add a positive 2 at the end. So we're going to get negative 0.5x squared, negative 1x, negative 1x, negative 2. So your final answer is going to be y equals negative 0.5x squared. Negative 1 and negative 1 is going to give you negative 2x. And then 2 minus 2, negative 2 plus 2 is going to cancel. So this is going to be your answer. So on this one, all we have to do is distribute. And that's just going to be an x. So this one, we just have to distribute this back. So y equals negative 0.5x squared minus 2x. Normally, this second parentheses would be a whole one, so you would have to do the box method. Since there's only one term in that, you can just distribute it. So keep that in mind for that one. So this is how you would write equation in, this is vertex form, and this is intercept form. Again, this is a which method do you prefer, because if you have your vertex, you can do it in this form. The only thing is, if you do not have two x-intercepts, you cannot do intercept form. You'd have to do vertex form, so keep that in mind. Okay, going down to the next one. These next two are going to be easy. Alter the equation to make the vertex a min. So if I were to graph this right now, change my thing. So your vertex was right here, and since it's negative, it would be going like this. So right now it's a max. So if I need to make it a min, I need to flip it to going like this. Remember, the only thing that changes is this a value. Since this is negative, we are going to make it positive. So the only thing I need to do is lose that negative sign. Last one, let's list the functions in order from widest graph to narrowest. Remember, widest is your smallest number. Narrowest is your biggest number. So we have 8, negative 1, 2/3, which is 0.6, and then 1/4, which is 0.25. So your smallest number is the 0.25. Next we go to the 0.6, then the negative 1, and then the 8. So your narrowest is 0.25, which is D, and your narrowest would be your biggest number, which is 8. Okay, let me know if you guys have any questions on this. You guys can get started on your homework.